Hey guys, Susanna here. Well, I'm back again for part 2 of this little cottage, and it's only going to have a couple of parts in it, and I love how it's looking. So I finished doing the stitching on here, which is really nice, and then did all stitch. You can sort of see on the back actually the stitching along here. I'll have to finish this off. Now where's my pins? Probably a bit small, that one. Just finish this off. So I think I've already done it the one time. I'm keeping this because I want to use this thread here, so for around here. Might use that, or I might use this. This is quite thin, so I might use a combination of the both of them. Have two colours then, so because there's two things along there, so I'm going to use this to do around the outside. Then we've got our buttons, so here's our little button, so for along the edge there. And if there is too many, which there might be, because I did 5 along here, but they're pretty close, so I might have a look if it's going to work. So do the pink. Maybe I can do a couple here, just one short one and one tall one. That might work. Or that. 2 small ones, there we go. That's cute. So I might do that. Yeah, it just doesn't, there's not as much room because this is so much bigger. Quite like how that turned out. It looks really good, and by the time we stitch this on there, which I will get that, and I might do that, so I'll pre-thread a few things. So I might do the door that way. I can come over and do this, and then we're going to have teeny tiny little wisteria, which is on the pattern. You can sort of see where I've put them on the pattern. Yeah, so I've sort of indicated where they go. I mean, I've just indicated, I've done them, but they're very small, so I'd say it will be the 3 and the 2. See how we go, or maybe even the 4 and the 1. So that's going to go there. We will just do, and that piece that you get for this, like that, made that into the sun. I probably will do it a little bit different. I'm just probably going to do some fluff coming out of the middle, and I don't know, I kind of like that, but I don't know, I'll just do the fluff in the middle, and then I'll see how it looks. So up to you what you really want to do. Okay, this is the fun embroidery part, so I'm going to show you basically what I'm going to do, and then I'll do the rest off camera, but you'll see the finished part in the thumbnail. So I'm going to do those flowers here, and I'm not going to do as much here, but I'm going to do sort of French knots with a little bit of green along the pathway, because I'd like it to be like a lavender pathway, which matches the wisteria a little bit. And then I might put that on first, before I do that, and so I know where to stop, because I can almost turn that into a gate as well. So if I line it up, that one of those, and I'll do a little crisscross and turn that into a gate. So just to make sure that that is like that. Yeah, that's the right way. Some of your things are a little bit different, so use what you've got, because I mean, you don't always have the same lace when you make these kits. Okay, so I'm going to be just doing a back stitch. Actually, I'll have to do a back stitch of the door first, and it doesn't matter if we go over those, because you'll just do the green and everything over the top, so that's why I've got to do the door first. Okay, there's my little doobie. I'm really happy how this looks. It looks so cute, and I will probably use this sort of like a darker browny black, if you know what I mean. I didn't want to go black, just is quite harsh. And it's sort of, you know, yeah, Wonderful Pearl 8 EZ08 if you want to get the same colour, so, or something similar. Yeah. This linen underneath, it's really good, it sews quite well. Okay. Like with anything, it is not hard, just a little time consuming, but it is called slow stitching after all, and there's a reason. It's so cute, I really do love this little cottage. And I'm glad I've done this one with some plain background. I mean, I love the one that I did for my journal, the Roxy's Journal of Creation, but Roxy's Journal of Stitchery. I do love the one that I've created for that, but I just think this would probably make a cute little bit to add to something else. I may even take this with me. I'm doing this just on the Saturday before I leave for the retreat, so as you can tell, this is very pre-recorded. And the colours that I'm using in that one is in blue, so if I take it with me, I'll see how it looks on the project that I'm going to be making. It's birdhouses and all that kind of stuff, so you never know. One of these might look rather cute. Okay, I might go across. I'm going to go across the, there's a bit of fabric along there. Went over the little dot of the thread that I used to stitch it down. Okay, so when I go on to doing the other, this, probably just do a double French knot, or I might even just do a colonial knot. This is fairly small, so it can be done in one go. It does fray, got to be careful of that. And by the time you see this video, because it's part 2, if I don't have any kits left, I'm going to be putting the pattern up. So, but I need to do a few more, like it's going to be a handwritten proper one with instructions. You'll have the instructions for tutorial. I've got most of it ready, but I just need to write instructions, and it takes a bit. Okay. I will be. Yep. Okay, I'm just finish up sewing this. And probably fast forward if you want to, or just stitch along with me. Okay. Looks quite nice in this darker colour. Okay, now while we're here, I'm just going to go up here and then do a colonial knot. Normally I put the knob on the side, but I just thought it lent itself to being one in the middle. Caught a little bit of fluff, and then we go back to doing our stitching. Okay, there we go. Now, well, I will turn off the camera for a bit and I'll finish doing the window, and then I'll come back. So using that same back stitch technique to do all of this, as well as maybe that too. So, and then tiny little French knots for that. So this window, which will be, I'll start on this side. I'll continue to do that, and when I come back I'll probably do, and I'll be doing a back stitch along here too. I might even do, actually I'll see how it looks using a stem stitch, so I'll be back. Okay, we're back again. I just finished stitching along there, so I've got that little thread there, and I thought I'll do a window. I haven't finished the window box yet either. And I used the same little technique that Rachel used. I just stitched around and I did one thread going that way, and then you hold it down in those 4 little bits, and I did the same with that. One stitch, and then you hold it down using a little stitch. So it's a nice and quick way of doing it. Okay, I might be able to zoom in a little more do this, and we're going to try doing a stem stitch. So you got that, it makes it a little thicker, so you come back, okay, doing a smaller stem stitch. So we're going to just follow that little path around. Doing tiny little stitches, but it's a nice thin thread. I would probably recommend using this happens to be a really thin thread, but just use a floss and use one thread. So still the same techniques, and everyone thinks because it's so little, you know, it's harder, but it really isn't. It's still the same technique of doing it, it's just on a smaller scale, not really that difficult. Okay. and you know, use a thinner nail, a thinner needle. If you use too thick a needle, it gets a little bulky. Okay, where have we got? We are probably going to be going this way. It tends to do that because I've got the door already there. Oop. It seems to be. Always try and, when you're stitching, pulls towards yourself. Okay, go back down. It's looking rather lovely already. Okay, we'll go on this one, and that goes down into the door. Okay. Now I was umming and ahhing whether I do use the lighter one, but I kind of like this, so I might go back using the same colour. I could probably highlight some of that lighter green maybe near the top part of the when I do the wisteria. So oop, there we go, because it's already threaded and you can see it. Okay, it's a bit there. I might grab that. Seems to be at a bit different angle. Okay, so now turn it around and I'll come in through here and go back around. Because I quite like that green. Okay. Because we've done some stitching, it may prove to be a little tricky. To see where you're going. Okay. Oop. And this is real time, so you can see not that difficult. Still the same technique as what you would do if you were doing it bigger. Go over the top, and I think I might do it that way. There we go. There you go. Looking rather gorgeous. So I'm just going to go up here. Keep bringing it towards me. I'm sorry, I really hope that this is in camera. across this way. Okay. Okay. We're getting there, people. We're getting there. Okay. It's gotten stuck. Ow! Probably felt that one. It has gotten stuck. I'm not sure which end is the last bit, whether it's that part or this part. Oh my goodness, there we go. Okay. Okay, well, I'll just finish this off. I haven't got that much to go, but you can sort of see, and because it is stem stitch, it's raised a little more, and it's got a bit more of like a stem like thing. I'll be back again. Now I've gotten this thread here, and I've got a piece, and I've got one strand. I'll see how I go. If I find that's too small, and it's a variegated, so we're going to have a few different colors. Now it's quite a long piece, and when it's long it can be a real pain, so I'm just going to do maybe just a couple of 1, 2, 3, just a few little knots. You can probably barely see it. 1, 2, 3. I'll just do a couple and then I'll show you. So we'll do 3 on the top, like knots, and then maybe do pretty small, tiny, just 3 tiny little knots, and then we're going to do maybe 2 and then 1. And I mean, it doesn't look like much when there's only you know, like 1 on there, and that's why I've got such a long piece. 1, 2, 3. I'm saying it's not hard, just a little time consuming. 2. So 1, 2, 3. And then we'll do 1. Okay, 1, 2, 3. There we go. And then on the top in the middle, I was going to use a bit of green, but I might use the purple and then attach it to have a 1 thin strand and attach it to the actual thing. So we'll do that first. Okay, grab that on the other side, strand, and then I want to attach it to the branches. Okay, and then go into the middle of that. 1, 2, 3, and then you do 2 either side of that. I mean, it is tiny, but it's going to be beautiful. So I'll do 1 on this side. And that's just using 1 thread of floss. That's only going to be done like that on here because it is such tiny little work. and they're tiny little flowers. So 3 on the top, 2 underneath that, and then 1. Always using 3 strands. 2, and well, that's 1 of the 2. Yeah, so when you get a really long bit, it does tend to one a knot, which can be a right pain. The moment you go and try and pull it, it may break. Yep, like that. Okay, so don't worry, there's more than one way to do something, so you've got to be careful because it may pay just to have more shorter ones. Okay. And have such a big long strip. Okay, so we'll do that again. 1, 2, 3. Down. And then this one's got 2. 1, 2, 3. I mean, having a longer one makes it easier because it gives you a little bit more thread to play with, but when it's really long, and then 1 on the bottom, and that's probably all we're going to get out of that thread because it's broken, but it's all right as long as I could get that wisteria, and it's already starting to change colour. And I'm going to go back up here again because you can't really see that going up to there. There we go. And then I'll knot that off. So, as much as it seems painstaking, it's the same as doing big ones, just in miniature form, and it's not too bad. And it's worth it when you see at how cute it's going to look. So I won't do any more of that. Oop. See how cute that looks already? So when you imagine that over the whole lot, it's going to look adorable. It's very little. Yeah, so, and then I'll, you know, you sort of follow where it's got in the pattern. I'll probably do another one here. And then once you've seen it, it'll look really pretty. So, okay, so what we're going to do, I was actually thinking I really like this colour. Probably do a couple of different colours. And then we're just going to do with a bigger needle. We're just going to do some grassy bits. Like here, and I've done some French, you know, I did some pistol stitch. So, okay, now grab our pieces. Where are they at? Here they are. I might go a little higher. So we're going to go about there, and probably about there, and there, and this one will go there, and then we'll have one going sideways. Okay, so using this darker green, I like the darker green on that side because it sort of brings that out there. I was going to do a stem stitch, but which I did do on these ones. Oh yeah, so you can't really see it by the time I do all the other stuff. It really doesn't matter. So I could probably just do these bits off. I've only got a fairly raw edge, so you will get straggly bits, but they will get covered. Okay. Now while we're there, I'm going to do maybe 3. A couple of little pistol stitch flowers, almost like little bulbs. Do 2 on that one, a bit smaller, and then I'm going to come back with another green, doing some leaves in between. So that'll work. Oh, good Lord, I hate it the way that it does that. It knots. Oh. See, when you're in a hurry, not a good thing. Okay. Okay, well, I'm going to pause and try and get that knot out. Okay, back again. I sorted out the knot, and then I thought I'm just going to continue on. So I did a few there, and I might go back and do more. So I've got this. So that I've got the darker one and then the lighter one. And on like here, I did all the knot things, and then I come back in with just some little, I might do a couple of these ones just here in this big one, because I ran out of the darker green. And I put the buttons on with just using this little thread here. So, and I'll do the same on the other side. So I've got that. So do a small one, and then I'll do another small one here. It's not going to make that much difference whether it's the lighter green or the darker green. So then we come back, and we're just going to do a whole heap of straight stitches fairly close together to fill in the gap. And then that's what I did on the other one. Nice and quick, that's doing the straight stitches. So some big ones, some short ones. I might do a tall one here, but then it covers that raw edge as well. So I'm going to do a fairly tall one next to the tall thing here, and then a short one next to that. And that holds that one down. And then because they haven't got any little flowers on top of them, that's where I come in with this beautiful thread here. It's called Larkspur. It's a specialty thread, can't remember where I got it from, and it's variegated, and then it will have, I'm going to do that there. And so I'm going to do that where I just do little French knots on top of those, so you get them at different heights, and do sort of averaging a couple. So that's a fairly long one, so we're going to put some taller ones here, small one, So we'll get ourselves a good range of dark and light threads. There we go, different heights. So I won't do it at the front like I did last time. I've got this little trim. I was actually thinking of maybe couching that just at the front across there. So that's something I might just do myself to see, you know, once I've done all the other stitching. Okay. This is pretty simple, doing this straight stitches. Just find the gap where you can fill it in and make sure that you grab it. So basically that top part here that was raw is now being filled in as well, so it serves a couple of purposes. Might do another tall one, and there you have it. A little one here. There. So do that same technique on the other side of the house. It's like a little washing line. And then we're going to come back in, and on the tops of each of those we're going to do some French knots. Actually, not French knots. Where is it? It will be a colonial knot, because they're usually, I'll come in and I'll show you. Just do a couple. I want to come too close to there. So colonial knot is the 8. So you go like that. And pull. I might do some a little lower as well, even though there's no lines there. Just gives it a bit of definition, and because it is variegated, you will get a different colour. So it's sort of a bit of a lighter green at the moment, but now we're going to be heading into the purple. So sort of a purpley pinky colour. There we go. It's so pretty. And all those colours blend in really well. And here's a top, so we'll definitely do one on the top. Oh, see, don't you dare. I can probably hopefully catch it. There we go. And there's the top of that one. So I will continue on. They're fairly quick doing colonial knots. So come out there. So that's what we're going to do along there, and then we'll continue in that darker colour, the same as, where is it? It may have fallen over the edge. I'll grab that. Here we go. This one, I'll finish off the window box. I might even go down here, like, just to give it a bit of definition, and do satin stitching here, so that holds that down there and keep that open. So satin stitch here, which is, you know, really close straight stitches next to each other. And in there I'm going to change a bit of a colour, and I'm going to go a little bit of pink to bring out some of the pink in there. because I quite like the pink that I've done there, and then do tiny little straight stitches to represent the leaves. So other than putting this on, which you just do a little small slip stitch with a light thread so you don't see it underneath. You're going to do French knots and everything in the garden. I may do a third one, but probably not. And the French knots, I might just do a couple little straight bits and pieces along here and just have like a lavender hedge. So you can just go on a little bit of an angle. Sort of like, yeah, see, that works. I might even do a very small stitch on either side here this way of a feather stitch or a in the green, and then I'm going to come back over the top of that and I'll do the same here, sort of like a feather stitch or a fly stitch is probably the easiest way. In there in the green, I might go darker green because you'll be able to see it, and then go over the top with a whole heap of French knots and everything to represent a beautiful lavender. And then you stitch this on, making sure you're getting a little gate thing in the middle, and then maybe going over there with this browny colour. Stitch it on with this thread and go down either side in the brown like that, and then maybe crisscross like that, so it looks like a gate. So okay, well, it's looking rather sweet, and I'm not very good at editing because there's a lot of stuff you've got to do in between. So basically there and there, a straight stitch, keep going around the house and you'll see the finished house. So just little straight stitches. I could probably show you, I'll show you quickly what I mean by a feather stitch, so that you know what you need to do. Take this out, because everything else is pretty self-explanatory, but because it's in smaller scale, okay, start there, then you go across and go up to the edge and it becomes like a Y. The same. There we go. Go across, pick that up there, and it sort of becomes like a little, so that's a tiny little feather stitch. It's going to be either side of the path, representing the, yep, like the greenery. Okay, so this way, coming up through there, going down. Go this side. That's a nice and quick way of getting yourself a path. So this is not a feather stitch, this is a fly stitch. Okay, I'm going to go all the way, make sure you go underneath, because that's doing that little loopy bit there. Oh, down this way, up, catching that, down. Okay, so there we go. So that's going to be the nice little pathway, and in between, like on the edges and almost in between all of that, is where you do your French knots in these colours. So, you know, sort of randomly maybe do some the darker one, and then over the top do a few more of the lighter ones, just to get a random look. Oh, I like that. That's looking pretty good. Okay guys, so that is, you can see this fly that's annoying me. As you can see, 46 minutes. It does take a little while, but I'm gonna go to my sister's and finish this off, and you'll see the actual finished picture in the thumbnail. Yeah, and also on the front of the kit on my Etsy store. So the kits are in link below in the Etsy store. You'll see a finished picture of it as well. Probably put it in my Instagram too. Okay guys, thank you very much for watching, and I will catch you in the next video. I just absolutely love this little cottage. It's so gorgeous. I might even go around here too in this darker colour, like I think I mentioned in the previous video. Probably a stem stitch, just to give it a bit of a, I think that will make it look a lot better. Okay guys, thanks for watching. Have fun stitching. Bye.